Before I hand over the mic to Nagoji for the formal introduction, and of course Secretary for his announcement, next week we're going to have this founder of Paperman, a project which we are going to be involved in this year, Matthew Jose, talking at our weekly meeting. This will be followed by, on 17th of July, former CEC Gopal Swami is going to address a joint meeting of our club and Rotary Club of Adaya. I might get one more club, so it might become a 3-club meeting. Then there, of course, the Interact installation will happen on the 11th of July of Asan Model School, and then on 20th, the Saidapet schools, the Interact is getting inaugurated. And then on there is going to be a medical camp at the Veda Parashala, where we had the medical camp last year. That's also going to be organized this month. The exact date will be announced later. Sujish is working on it. And of course, our first fellowship is going to be on the 14th of August, which is going to be a part of the Madras Week celebrations, where our family participation director, V. Sriram, is going to conduct a quiz on Madras. So I'm sure this is going to be at TAC Center. Chari has been kind enough to offer the venue for this thing. Thank you very much, sir. And of course, the most important thing, our outstation fellowship. I was completely overwhelmed by the response that we got. I think the day after the installation, there was a mail from Ranjit about this thing. Within 2 days, we were full up. I think Ranjit deserves a round of applause for the kind of meticulous planning that he has done, true to his style. He has always worked pretty hard, and the amount of planning and the legwork that he did before he sent out that mail, I know, and Nagoji knows. So I would request Ranjit to say something about this fellowship. There's something which you wanted to announce.
Yeah, if the booking is still open, if any of you would like to join, just give me the names. We have enough rooms blocked, so you have to only give me the names of those people who want to come.
Yeah, I will join. I will join. I have been waiting for Gupta ji to come. Only just now I learned Gupta is coming.
Gupta ji, now you know. Your name can be a big draw. Your train bookings are also available?
The train bookings, now we have to reconfirm because there are a few dropouts.
Okay.
So I think we can definitely accommodate Chari. Anyway.
My wife too.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ranjit. There's also one more program that we are planning. This is sometime in the first week of August, where we are going to have a meeting of green Rotarians. All the Rotarians who have joined in the last couple of years, last 2 years in fact, there are about 12 Rotarians so far. We're going to have a meeting of all the people, and there's going to be, we'll soon announce the date and the venue for this. They will be invited with their families to generally brief them about what Rotary is all about and what our club is all about. And with that, I'll hand over the mic to the Secretary for his announcement.
Good evening, Rotarians. Yes, birthday and wedding anniversary announcements. We have quite a few. Start from the one we missed out in the last week. On 20th June, Usha and Sridhar Shiraman celebrated wedding anniversary. On 22nd June, Rotarian Shiram celebrated his birthday. And 24th June is the wedding anniversary of Shyamla and Jayaprakash. And 28th, Ruma Bhomik celebrated birthday. And again the same day, 28th June.
Ruma is here. Yeah,
No.
Give the money.
And Suresh and Tamil celebrate wedding anniversary on 28th June. And on 3rd July, today is the birthday of Jawar Pichani.
Pichani is not there.
Jawar is not here.
No, it's his birthday today. Many happy returns.
Not bad for the first week of the year. I request Nagoji to introduce the speaker.
It's too narrow for my size. Thank you, new president, elected president, Sheshadri, secretary, Maktoum, and our chief guest, P.T. Prabhakar. Actually, Sheshadri has taken the wind out of the sail by saying, oh, this RI ridership. I thought it would be the high point in this. Anyway, he has got enough high points, so I did not worry about that. Rotary P.T. Prabhakar, very good friend of mine, known as PTP, is one of the youngest ever Rotarian to be elected district governor in RI District 3230. PTP is an electrical engineer. After working with Siemens India for 10 years and Siemens Germany for 2 years, he set up his own business. He is the managing director of PT Prabhakar Private Limited, who are distributors for Siemens, making switch gears and motors. He joined the Rotary Club of Madras Central in 1983 and was club president in 88-89. He was elected governor of the district 3230 for the year 96-97. PTP started the first ever Rotary Center in Madras, which provides a common meeting place for 7 clubs. In fact, that's the only property that Rotary has in Chennai. In May 1993, he led with distinction the directors GSE team to District 6510, Illinois, USA. During 96-97, as governor of District 3230, PTP planned and executed several outstanding projects. Notable amongst them are, with the help of the unique coin scheme, he achieved a contribution of $165,000 to the Rotary Foundation. In those days, that was a huge contribution, which was the highest for any district in Asia Zone 6 for 96-97. As project chairman, Rotary Central TTK VHS Blood Bank, he has set up the most modern blood bank in Madras with the help of a 3H grant of $300,000 by the Rotary Foundation. He has got lots and lots of awards. Among them are, he is the recipient of the Rotary's highest award for service above self award. He has got many such awards. That's the highest, of course. He is the recipient of the Citation for Meritorious Service. He is the recipient of Distinguished Service Award, the highest award given by the Rotary Foundation. For Rotary years 2001-2003, he served with distinction as a regional Rotary Foundation coordinator for Asia Zone 6, which has 21 Rotary districts spread over 8 countries. For Rotary year 2004-5, 5-6 and 7-8 and 8-9, PTP served as a member Global Selection Committee for Scholarship Fund Pool for Low-Income Countries of the Rotary Foundation. PTP and his wife Nalini served as 2012 Rotary International Training Leaders at the 2012 International Assembly at San Diego, USA. PTP is a charter member of GNBD, that's Global Network of Blood Donors, as RI, an RI approved Rotarian Action Group with 960 Rotarians from different parts of the world as members. For 2010-12, PTP served as the president of Global Network for Blood Donation. For the year 2007-8, PTP served as a member of the 2008 Los Angeles Convention Promotion Committee. PTP and Nalini are major donors to the Rotary Foundation. PTP and Nalini have represented the RI President in the conference of District 3050 in 1998. PTP and Nalini represent RI President at the conference of District 5260, Los Angeles, USA in May 2008. PTP is an excellent speaker and has addressed several clubs, conferences, foundation seminars in India and USA. He has addressed the GETS, that's the Governor Training Seminar, TGN seminars, Rotary Institutes at Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, Cochin, Bangkok, Kuala Lumpur, Manila, Jakarta and Singapore. PTP has been, as already said, RI Director for 2013-15. PTP is happily married to Nalini, who has done a Master's in Dietetics and is a Director of PT Prabhakar Private Limited. Nalini was the District Chairman of Inner District 323 for the year 2001-2. PTP and Nalini are blessed with 2 sons who are engineers working in India and UK. Recently, in a forum, he was introduced by a very distinguished lady of our district, and she said that he is like a rose surrounded with thorns. See, rose is for its look, Ranjit, I'm talking about the flower. And the fragrance.
You mean to say rose?
No, I'm talking about the flower. Okay. So rose is for looks and its fragrance. If anybody wants to pick it or pick on it, they have to do at their own risk. Over to PTP.
Thank you, Naguji. I think before PDP takes the mic, I would like to make one more important announcement. And I don't think I could have begun my year on a much better, happier mood. I've got a check here for 1 lakh from camps towards Anna University AC and refrigeration project. I would request V. Shankar, MD of camps, to come forward and hand over this check to our community service director. Go ahead. Very good. I think you certainly deserve a big round of applause. Cameras here. Okay, fine.
It's okay. I'm not relevant.
We can market you with it. Thank you. Okay. Thanks a lot. Over to you, sir.
President Seshadri, Secretary Magdoom, past district governor and my mentor in Rotary, Ramkrishna Raja, Rotarians from this great club, the Rotary Club of Madras South, my wife Nalini and guests. Good evening to all of you. At the outset, I must thank your president for giving me this wonderful opportunity to speak to this club about what is, to my mind, the best Rotary theme I have heard in the last 2 decades. Just 3 words: peace through service. And before I do that, let me first thank my dear friend Nagoji for those kind words of introduction. Let me make a confession. That sheet of paper he had, that biodata was prepared by me with the sole purpose of impressing my wife Nalini. But let me tell you, even after 35 years of marriage, that objective has not yet been achieved. Friends, I'm always scared of these kind of introductions because very often it has landed me in some very embarrassing situations. Those days my club had a project for unwed mothers, those ladies who, unfortunate ladies who get children before they get married. And when I was a young Rotarian way back in 87, 88, we used to support that project very well. And I continued to do that. And the year I became governor in 96, that home for unwed mothers, they had an annual day. And they invited me as chief guest. I went there. And like Nagoji introduced me today, there was this young unwed mother who went to the mic and started singing my praise. He said, PTP is so generous, he's so good to us. Whenever we want any help, he is ready to help. If we want money, he immediately writes a check. And she went on and on. Then she said at one stage that if 25 of us unwed mothers are in this home, it's because of Rotarian people. And Nalini was sitting next to me and she asked, oh, this is the community service you are doing. And I had to assure her we do other things as well. Friends, I must, Nagoji mentioned the fact that I have been elected as director-elect for Rotary year 2013-15. And I owe a great sense of gratitude to this club and past Governor Ramkrishna Raja. I don't know how many of you know. He was the chairman of the nominating committee which nominated me as RI director nominee. And sir, I cannot thank you enough for the, what shall I say, the wonderful opportunity you have given me to serve Rotary. And I was pleasantly surprised. Ramkrishna Raja told me, and even Nagoji said, 7 o'clock all of our members will be there. Last year, one of the clubs had invited me for a meeting. They said 7 o'clock we start very sharply. I went there at 7. Except the president, there was nobody there, not even the secretary, So I asked him, what is this? He said, sir, Chennai traffic. And, our members, they will all come, let's have a cup of coffee. We had coffee, we had everything, no sign of any Rotarians. Then I asked him, I got a doubt whether he did tell people that I am going to speak. And we past governors always think that we are very good speakers. The moment you tell them we are coming, people will come. So I asked him, did you tell your Rotarians that I am the chief guest today? He immediately said, sir, I didn't tell them, but I will find out who did. I said, nobody has turned up today. Friends, our RA president, Sakuji Tanaka, whom Naili and I got to know very well,
because we were with him in the International Assembly as training leader. He is a wonderful human being and a genuinely humble person. And he says, I realized that by helping others, even in the simplest of ways, I could help to build peace. And as you know, what is peace? Peace can be defined by what it is not. It's a state of no war, no violence, no fear. It means that you are not in danger of hunger or persecution or the suffering of poverty. Peace can also be defined, according to Tanaka, by what it is. It's the freedom of thought, of speech, freedom of opinion and choice, and the ability for self-determination. It can mean security, confidence in the future, a life and a home in a stable society. So how can Rotary help to achieve peace? Peace has different meanings for different people. According to, again, Tanaka, no definition is right and no definition is wrong. No matter how we use or understand the word, Rotary can help us to achieve that. So Rotary helps us to meet the basic needs. How are we going to achieve peace through service? By providing health care, sanitation, food and education. It helps to meet the inner needs for friendship, etc. And Rotary helps us to build peace in its traditional sense by reducing the causes of conflict. It builds bridges of friendship and tolerance amongst peoples and nations. Friends, I am going to now talk to you about two words, and before that just look at this photograph. This was a 1994 Pulitzer Prize winning photograph. You can see this was taken in Sudan, and you see this child is almost about to die of starvation. She is crawling towards a UN food camp, and you can see a vulture waiting just behind, waiting for the child to drop dead so that it can eat the flesh. And this photograph is such a sad photograph, but it won the Pulitzer Prize. And would you believe it if I tell you, the man who took this photograph committed suicide because he could not bear such tragedy in this world. Why am I showing this to you? Let me tell you, my dear friends, we live in two entirely different worlds. There is one world. Look at this child. She has a comfortable home and she has a luncheon room like this, a fantastic lunch she has every day. She is never hungry. And look at these children. They are on the street. They don't know when they will get their next morsel of food, whether they will get it at all. Now look at this child again, almost about to die of hunger and malnutrition. Look at this girl. She has a comfortable home again. She has access to modern gadgets like computers, internet, what have you. And a bright future for her is absolutely assured. You have been seeing these two sets of children, my dear friends, and they belong to two entirely different sets of world. You will agree with me. This rich child lives in a world which is totally different from what the poor children live in. Now look at these children, packed like sardines in a classroom which lacks even basic amenities like ventilation and furniture. Now look at this child. He lives in a palace like this, and can you believe this? These are real palaces. And look at these children. They are sleeping in the road. They have no roof over their head to protect them from the vagaries of the weather. Again, they live in two sets of different worlds. And this child, she has a bath in a marble bathtub in a bathroom like this, which costs millions of dollars. And we have children like this in our country and in many countries who have no homes, no toilets, nothing, not even a wall to protect their modesty from the rest of the public. You will agree with me, my dear friends, when I tell you that these two sets of children live in two entirely different worlds. There are people who live in air-conditioned comfort like this, most of us Rotarians. And there are people who live in squalid slums like this, where living is, absolutely in totally terrible conditions, where you and I cannot even probably spend 5 minutes. You will agree with me that, and look at this boy, polio affected. His only means of transport is his polio affected legs. And look at this garage of Sultanate of Oman. and look at the cars that he has, and look at the silver colored car. If you think it's a silver paint, you are mistaken. It's a silver Audi made of pure silver. You will agree with me that there's a vast difference between these two worlds which we live in. And believe me, my dear friends, this world you see on the left and on the right, they exist in every country. They exist in every continent. And believe me when I tell you, they are not divided by national barriers. They are only divided by apathy and indifference of the majority of the citizens in any country. Believe me, my dear friends, there can never be any peace in this world as long as these two worlds exist. As Tanaka says, peace is not just absence of war. There can be no peace when somebody is hungry. There can be no peace when somebody is illiterate and when he sees that the rich people having so much more comfort. So building these two worlds by our educational and humanitarian programs like this hospital of Ambattur Club or the blood bank which Navaji mentioned in his introduction or these low-cost housings, many projects like this, the educational programs, the matching grants we do to give school furniture. Building these two worlds by humanitarian and educational programs is the principle behind what Tanaka said, that is build peace through service. And it can only be achieved by service. Putting service above self allows us to focus our energies on what is truly important. We put the common good above our own. We prioritize others' needs over our own desires. We think less about ourselves and more about what is best for everyone. And in this way, we help to build the foundation for a more powerful world. And these are the words of Tanaka at the International Assembly. So how are we going to achieve this? How are we going to propagate peace? Tanaka has planned 3 global peace forums. He wants us to promote these 3 Rotary Global Peace Forums that will be held in Hiroshima, in Berlin and Honolulu in November, January and May. And he wants every Rotarian in every district or as many Rotarians as possible. Not only you should attend, you should select somebody from your Rotaract or Interact clubs, youth leaders, and send them there, because the youth of today are the future of our country for tomorrow. Now, okay, everybody cannot be going to this peace forum. We have 1.2 million Rotarians. I guess all the 3 peace forums put together, 10,000 people will be there. So what about the rest? What can you do at home? Hold a club or district peace forum. You can definitely, a wonderful club like South can organize a peace forum. You can organize a community peace forum. Establish an international twin club partnership, which I am sure you already have. How many partnerships do you have, Seshadri? I am sure you have a few partnerships.
Yeah, we have 3.
3 or 4, okay. Sponsor a Rotary Peace Fellow. You know what this is. We have our peace universities where we have the program. We give a 3-year degree in peace and conflict resolution. It's a project of the Rotary Foundation. You can sponsor a peace fellow. In fact, you can approach your governor to give DDF in lieu of the fee that guy has to pay. Support a service project that addresses root cause of conflict, like we saw. I told you about the educational and humanitarian programs. And plan a peace activity in conjunction with the World Understanding and Peace Day on 23rd February 2013. And Tanaka suggested district peace awards. The district governors will be this year conferring district peace awards on clubs that undertake successful peace forums or peace-related projects in 2012-13. I know the South Club has a wonderful Rotary Club in College of Engineering, India, am I right?
Yeah.
And it's a great club, fantastic guys there. You can make use of them and organize probably a inter-district Rotary Peace Forum. I'm sure that will, not just for getting the award, but this will be going really towards building peace in this world. And Tanaka is going to recognize at the Lisbon Convention the best club peace activity to be organized on stage, and district governors have to send their recommendation by 15th of April. So whatever project you do, it must be done well, probably in the first half of this Rotary year, or it could coincide with February 23rd, the World Understanding Day, or whatever. Friends, it was former President of India, Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, who said, "I do not want our generation to go down in the history of mankind as the one which split the atom or the one which invented the atom bomb." He said, we should rather go down in the history as the generation which brought peace to mankind. And this is exactly what Tanaka had in mind when he gave us that wonderful RA theme. And somebody asked Albert Einstein, the great scientist, what weapons will they use in the Third World War? He said, I do not know what they will use in the Third World War, but I'll tell you what they will use in the Fourth. He said, they will be using rocks. What he means is that civilization won't survive the Third World War. So we'll go back to Stone Age. And it's a real threat. It's not as if, every day we read about Pakistan having nuclear vessels and their nuclear missiles. They are saying we can reach Delhi in 8 minutes. It's not an imaginary threat. It's a real threat. And today, incidentally, I received a letter from the governor from Rotary Club of Lahore inviting me to go to Pakistan, and I was really scared when I read that. I didn't know what prevails there, whether I will ever come back or whether he really meant the invitation. That is how the world is today. Just with our own neighbors, we are not having peace. And what Einstein said is very, very relevant. It's not just an imaginary threat. So if we have to ensure that there is peace in this world, if we have to make sure that our future generation, our children and our grandchildren thrive in this world and live comfortably and successfully, friends, we have to do what Tanaka said. We have to convince the world that peace is possible, and we have to follow this great theme, peace through service. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for the kind and patient hearing that you gave me for the last 20 minutes.
Thank you very much, sir. PT had told me earlier that he has to leave for a meeting at 7:30. So I will not throw the floor open for any questions and answers. I think it has been quite clear as to what, and thank you very much for enlightening us about what these projects are for this year. And we'll certainly try and do something as a part of this exercise. I request Shekhar to propose a vote of thanks. A small token of our.
Thank you.
Good evening, PDG Rotarian PT Prabhakar, Nalini, President, Secretary and friends. I know you have to rush, so I was just wondering how are we going to get through 40 slides when you had to leave so early? But what you've actually given us is a pictorial journey, and what you've actually shown us is peace can be bridged, and peace can be the bridge between the underprivileged world and the developed world. So therefore, with that key message, I thank you once again for kicking off this year on such a fantastic note. Thank you very much.
First meeting of the Rotary of Madras. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.